Yank is hell of a marker.
It's Maximum Yank.
Maximum Yank, like the top is like
Yank. Yeah.
Huh?
The Yank is no.
其实演讲力量。Yeah, I'll give you the.
Is there a way to keep this from still? I'm still sick of the dang thing, right? It's actually long.
Just walking through here. So we walked up there and then for the second.
Nobody wears it. It used to be in the front, eh? Why? Wait, what's the side? Isn't there a side it has to be on?
I don't think it is. Yeah, don't.
Wait, everybody knows this.
Now, all worked out.
Can we pen over a snitch?
Hey Ben, can you come this way a bit? Sure.
Okay, you should get long
How
hair.
much?
That's good, thanks.
You should get long hair.
Just because
They're all smudgy. I tried, they don't get clean. They stay dirty. I don't think I need them, I just use size font 40. Because the problem with these, I can't see anything now. Like I have to. How do you do this?
You need to get your tribal.
I would love to get them on it. I would love that. Like look like right here.
Yeah, well, for like people that have never seen like graduates, what?
Are we ready?
It's like a bunch of like sports dog
streaming. Well, it's been streaming for a bit.
Are you guys?
Can we take a video of our friends? Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to give a rousing round of applause to our and also, we are feeling really fortunate that we're able to gather here today for the 2020 graduation ceremonies for this wonderful group of young men and women as they make the next step in the transition in life. Join me in a round of applause. Let's bring Christian Isa up to start the event.
Hello, fellow graduates, teachers, parents, and friends on the live stream. My name is Christian Isa, and I'd like to welcome you to the graduating ceremonies for the class of 2020. I'd like to thank you all for making this, just like Mr. Oz says, truly the best year ever. 13 years ago this week, I graduated preschool, back when Aberdeen was called Central Okanagan Academy. It's incredible to see how far we've all come since then. Seeing all the changes that have happened over my 8 years at Aberdeen are truly mind-blowing. From our first grad class, back in 2014, only having 15 graduates, to the 39 we have today. I am truly blessed to have been able to call this place home since grade 7, surrounded by awesome friends, caring teachers, and a supportive staff. Now please welcome Head of School, Mr. Grieve.
Thank you, Mr. Oz, and thank you, Christian, for the introduction. I think today, in fact, I know, this is actually a happy day because a couple of months ago, when this hit, we were talking, the heads of school from all over. First of all, this isn't happening in other provinces, so I always look for silver linings. And when I like to talk to the grads, there's usually two types of messages. One is we reflect back on your history. You guys were born in 2002, is that right, most of you? Yeah, getting some live response. And then I also reflect on sort of unique things that might mark this year. Well, that's not difficult because it's going to go down as the pandemic year. And you guys have done a really great job. And this is a celebration. We are here together live, where your parents are joining us on Monday and Tuesday. And I consider us so fortunate that we're able to assemble together to make the most of what's been a really couple of tough months. As I look back, I'm going to be asked to present the Lifer Awards to 4 distinguished students. But I would like to comment on this, those individuals in this class. Now, you certainly weren't all here back for part of this story, but I think I have a bit of a connection with your year because I remember 10 years ago, I would see Mrs. Schurz a lot because she helped us do some organizing. And I would go into your class. Some of you were there. Hands up if you were in Mrs. Schurz 10 years ago. There's about 6 or 7 of you. What I remember in that class is you guys, for 7-year-olds, so when you're in grade 2, you're 7, so little educator's trick. If you're always curious how old someone is, add 5 years to the grade. So when you're in grade 2, you were 7. And I just remember coming into that room thinking, those children love being grade 7. And I would see Bandon, Braden, and Coral, and Josh. And you guys you didn't know it, but you loved being in grade 2 and you loved being 7 years old. You move ahead a couple of years. I had the pleasure of teaching a number of you in Daphne O'Sullivan's class. You joined in a slightly larger group. Daphne, and we taught science and we did rockets. And then we move ahead another 6 or 7 years. And you guys have had just a tremendous career here. The other message I'd like to deliver before we do the lifers is sort of a life lesson, some of the life lesson elements. And this year, one thing is that what happened in the last few months wasn't fair. This was a ripoff in some ways. It wasn't fair. And although it's not a pleasant lesson, but it is actually a valuable life lesson. It's just not fair, but we're making the most of it and we're finding silver linings. The other life lesson that is rather simple but can have many complex layers is it's incredible how sometimes you think things are permanent and then they can just change so quickly. And this time will go down as the most sweeping change in the history of the world ever, based on certain criteria. From the sort of the end of March to the middle of April, you'd already had parts of the world tremendously impacted. But in those sort of 2 to 4 weeks, close to 6 billion people were directly affected and the world shut down. So one of the lessons I'm taking from that is that was unprecedented, an incredible, based on a global situation, just an incredible, the fact that we could do it and we did it successfully and we have flattened this curve. I think we should enjoy the fact that we are celebrating today. We're by the worst of it. Some things are never permanent. Powerful lessons. And it's just an incredible, incredible term. But again, I sit here relieved and thankful that we're here to join. I would now like to work, could I get someone to help with the plaques, please? Because I'm going to now talk about the 4 lifers. I guess I'll get them. Oh. All right, could I just have Braden, Adrian, Coral, and Cheyenne? Well, Braden, you can't stand up. Let's have the other 3 come up for a second. Braden's going to be right here. Could I please have Adrian, Coral, and Cheyenne come on up? Yeah, that's enough. And Brayden, did you get yours? You're getting yours? Okay, so this is a general recognition of the four of you because we are doing spotlight speeches, so it's not an additional spotlight speech. But it is thank you. And I've really enjoyed, I've been here the whole time. I know you guys pretty well. I know your parents. And it's one of the most valuable aspects of my job is the fact that we run 15 years of schooling. And the fact that I'm able to see you when you are this tall in Teacher Madeline's class, many of you years and years ago, and now that you've blossomed into fine young adults, it's a pleasure for me to observe that. It's a tremendous success on your part. And sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy coming to the same school for 15 years, but I think in the end, you're really thankful that you did. We honor you and thank you for being on our Lifer wall. Congratulations. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay. I would like to now call up the next speaker. I think we're calling up Emmeline Kayur and Brayden.
Thank you very much. Everyone can hear me? Alright, so I started my journey at Aberdeen Hall 13 years ago. Because of this, I never really had to start over in a new place with new people. I feel really lucky because of this. However, since I never got to have this experience as a new kid, I often ponder what it would have been like for those of you who started your time at Aberdeen Hall on the wild ride that is Horizons Week. I'm going to put you in the shoes of someone stepping off the bus for day one of Horizons Week at Rock Ridge. You're a bit nervous, as anybody would be in this new situation. You grab your bags from the back of the bus, and you pick your bunk for the week. After taking a quick bathroom break, you are shocked to return to a scene of complete chaos. The cabin is shaking as the group of boys that you're going to spend the next week of your life with chase each other around the cabin with leather belts, screaming incoherently. The week only gets weirder, as that night, rather than sleeping in beds, the boys steal all the sheets from the closet and tie hammocks for themselves between the bed frames. You brush your teeth and get ready to sleep. Only, you don't sleep. Nobody sleeps. The chaos from earlier does not subside until it seems that nobody has the capacity to continue. Now, in a state of complete exhaustion, you sit down and talk for what seems like an eternity. You share about yourself, and you learn about others. Soon you realize that you aren't the outsider in this group. You're not alone. You found your happy place. That's when you realize you've become part of something special. You're part of more than a school. You're part of a family.
Thank you, Brayden. For many of us, Horizons is not the only trip that had amazing memories. Throughout our time here at Aberdeen, sports have brought individuals together, empowered us, and allowed us to have some unforgettable adventures and memories. There have been several sports teams at our school, such as basketball, volleyball, soccer, rugby, swimming, and track and field. Each of these sports teams have had long bus rides filled with laughter and giggles to the point where it might drive some coaches crazy. Am I right, Ms. Ruber? The basketball team, which is the team I was part of, has been through thick and thin. However, we will always have memories like the one of Meta Mac in the quickest motion turning off Step Brothers as Will Ferrell's about to. If you've seen the movie, you already know. Fast forward to high school, where Mr. Hooper would get furious at Adam Bassad's back cuts and during practice, and as a result of these actions, we would run suicides. Now, I personally will never miss running suicides, but there is no better feeling than knowing that you are with your teammates and you are struggling together. Another great memory was when the senior boys basketball team traveled to Victoria for a tournament, and during this tournament, the senior girls volleyball team was playing in provincials. They had made it to finals, which was an amazing achievement on its own. As the basketball team heard this news, we drove to Nanaimo to cheer them on. We were the loudest and most obnoxious orange-suited cheerleaders in the entire gym. But it was amazing. The senior girls volleyball team finished second place, with Emmeline, Haley, and Kaylee bringing home a silver medal. That was a proud moment for every Griffin athlete. We can't forget about the outstanding achievements from athletes in our grad class. In rugby, Brayden and Ben helped and led the senior boys rugby team to a second place finish at provincials. In soccer, the soccer team had Liam and Adam Bassat leading them to their second appearance at provincials. In track, Adrian's hard work paid off as he is now a national level pole vaulter and brought home a silver medal from provincials. In golf, Christian's determination and skill brought home 2 provincial banners. The swim team had Clara, who had helped start the program and brought home a provincial banner as well. Ultimate Frisbee, the newest team to Aberdeen Athletics, had Jonathan, Josh, and Lucas, who had great resilience helping the team come third in the city, right behind KSS. Lastly, the basketball team had Adam Locke's versatility and Noah's fiery spirit, which helped us land a spot at the Valley's tournament for the second time ever. To athletes such as Tor, Sky, Emma, Annika, Ava, Matt, Ethan, and Cheyenne, who strive for greatness in their own respective sports, you have accomplished so much with the grit and mindset of an Aberdeen Hall athlete. Sports have been part of our lives since we have started school, and it has created millions of memories that won't be forgotten anytime soon.
This school year, we have been given the opportunity to create many memories as a class. From events like the scavenger hunt, grad fashion show, to even Pie Day, we have created new memories this year. I will never forget having Kaylee wash whipped cream out of my hair for 45 minutes and the horrible smell that I had to sit with for the rest of the day. While I can't mention all of the memories that we have made this year, there is one that must be talked about. It happened recently, maybe a few weeks ago. We all drove to school for the first time in about 3 months. Personally, this was one of the weirdest drives to school ever, but the drive home was worse. Do you want to know why? It was because almost 45% of you guys voted to watch Scoob at our movie night. Are you kidding me? Anyways, it's hard to finish a speech off right without acknowledging the elephant in the room. We did miss out on making a lot of memories together. If COVID hadn't happened, we would have done our grad pranks, gone to San Francisco, and seen each other 5 times a week since March break. Now, all this is sad to think about, but I think that it has brought us closer together in the long run. Think about all the times over these past few months where either your mom, dad, brother, or sister has tried to tell you, it's not that bad, or it could be worse, and somehow you don't magically feel better. That's because they aren't going through exactly what we are. Only we know how this feels, and it is something we can all relate to. And while we did miss out on making memories together this year, we are not saying goodbye to those lost memories. We are saying see you later, to which many of us will see each other in university. So, to the class of 2020, this is only a see you later. Or to speak next.
So for those behind the camera, I'm Tor Unsa. I'm one of the newest students here, and I'm going to be thanking those who could not be here with us today. Each person standing before me has made tremendous sacrifices and put in countless of hours of work to their sport, to their passion, and to their schooling, all to reach this pivotal milestone. However, they have not stood alone in their journey, and without a doubt, not one person in this audience would be here without their parents. I know each and every student here wishes they could see the smiles on their parents' faces as they go to walk across the stage and receive their diploma, signifying the end of their high school journey, but let's take time to appreciate those who cannot be present. Parental support goes so much further than simply the financial compensation that has allowed us all to be a part of this schooling experience. As when parents decide to have a child, they enter into an unspoken lifelong contract for support and guidance of those who they've brought into this world. A contract that all of you watching have successfully stuck to, as I can see the unique family values that have helped shape and build my peers into such distinguishable and successful young adults. Much of what parents do is behind the scenes, not ever truly getting the recognition from their children that it deserves. However, in these actions, they keep the world turning, they keep food on the table, and they do everything they can to afford their children the opportunities they dream of. I remember the early mornings every weekend when my parents would wake me up at 4 a.m. so I could get to practice on time. While I was half asleep, they would help me slip into my hockey gear while my dad prepared me some eggs and toast. Also, I could get to the rink and fumble around on the ice for an hour. But they did this because they loved me, and They knew how happy the sport made me. In every sporting endeavor and otherwise, my parents had endless support for me, doing anything and everything they could to ensure I had the opportunity to participate and compete, and no matter the distance, they were there to watch, even if it meant logging into an iPad while overseas in Italy in the middle of the night to watch me. My parents have never left my side for anything, and our bond has only grown stronger as I have grown and take on new challenges of the world. This is concurrent with all parents watching today, as I know the immense schedules that my peers have taken on and the level of support they've gained from their parents. I know that each person I've come to know over my past 2 years at Aberdeen Hall has a rock-solid foundation of support and development provided to them through their parents from a young age. From that, they must all be forever grateful and never forget what you all have done for them as we move forward in building and growing our own lives. In this, I know our future generations of this grad class will have the best role models to look upon for their own support. Parents have never-ending love that will not falter for all those I speak to now, and that is something we must all cherish and refrain from abusing. I want to thank each and individual parent who has played a part in my peers' lives as well as my own, and to thank you all for the sacrifices you've made and the lengths to which you are willing to go. Your efforts do not go unnoticed forever. I hope each of my peers heeds this advice and remembers to take time upon their return home to stop and thank their parents for all they have done and all they continue to do, and that you remind them of your love for them. Thank you all from me, from my peers, and from the staff of Aberdeen Hall. We appreciate all you've done. I would now like to invite Mr. Bob up.
Morning, everyone. It's nice to see you guys. So community is of the utmost importance at Aberdeen Hall, and our grads hold a special place in our community. They each leave an indelible mark in our school community, and many of our teachers share a connection with grads that extends beyond the numbers, beyond the essays, and beyond the classroom content. Our spotlight speeches are an opportunity for a faculty member to reflect on particular students and to briefly speak to and about those students. A great deal of thought is put into these words, and it's not unusual for a closed-door meeting to be required to determine who has the honor of speaking on behalf of particular students. So grads, as each teacher calls you up, please stand on one of the discs to the side of the stage. You'll be invited onto the stage one at a time. There's an X there. Although we would love to give you a handshake or a hug at the end of our speeches, we'll all be practicing social distancing. So today I have the honor and pleasure of speaking on behalf of our first two graduates. I would like to invite Jonathan Etheridge and Mark Lee to the front. Jonathan, you're first, you can come on up. Jonathan, even before I ever had the chance to teach Jonathan, I felt like I got him. Like me, Jonathan has a passion for and a love of the outdoors. As he stopped by my room or flagged me down in the busy hallway to ask my opinion about what fly to use or where to find hungry fish at that time of the year, I realized that he might even be more addicted than me. Jonathan possesses a strong work ethic and a desire to be better at everything that he puts his mind to. This was clearly evident in the work he would submit to his teachers, the drive he would exhibit on a soccer and ultimate pitch. Wow, how rude. Yeah, it's all for Johnny. And his constant request for flyovers, apparently. No, his constant request until I finally created his fly fishing club. No matter where Jonathan's life path takes him, his drive, his sense of humor, and his generous spirit will ensure that he is successful. Thanks, Jonathan. All right, Mark. Mark, I've had the pleasure watching Mark go from being a quiet, shy, and unassuming international student at Aberdeen to a confident, self-assured young man. I think that Mark might actually be a superhero who lives an unassuming life of hard work and academic high achievement until he is called into action, and then he transforms into someone completely different. I'll always remember how Mark completely changed who he was when he absolutely lit up and oozed charisma and passion as he was performing Shakespeare in front of his peers. Everyone watching was so surprised and excited to see that side of him. Again, we have all seen Mark transform from his clean-cut and proper student disguise into a deceptively quick, hard-hitting rugby beast. Mark's passion for learning, his hard work, his dedication, and drive to master whatever he puts his mind to will carry him to success no matter what he decides to do after graduation. Congratulations. I'd like to now call on Mrs. Huck.
Can I call up Haley, Josh, and Kare, please? Haley, you're first, so you can come right on up. Aberdeen Hall without the Zandi family. For me personally, that is a strange thought. I have built relationships with all the family members over the years, each passing child better than the last. Right, Haley? Being the youngest of her siblings has taught her to be empathetic, but also fierce. Friends can rely on her if they need someone to sit quietly and listen, but also if they want to spend the day out on an adventure. She is up for anything and always holds her own. Where you truly see her skill is on the volleyball court. No matter how fast the ball is coming, she will dive and make sure it doesn't hit the ground, often coming back from volleyball tournaments covered in bruises. Haley, your whole future is waiting for you, and you have amazing people so excited to see you conquer the world. So head on out on your next great adventure, but never forget to come back and tell us all about it. Josh, come on up. Since I first taught Josh in grade 8, a lot of things have changed. The world runs on social media. Binge watching TV shows is the norm. Skipping commercials is an option. But even more notable is the extra 4 feet Josh has grown. But so much has also stayed the same. He is still the kind-hearted boy with a quick wit that can make us all laugh. Through the years, we have worked through grade 8 math, traveled to London and Paris, and survived advisory check-ins almost every day for the past 3 years. Josh, thanks for putting up with me. I am so excited to see all that you accomplish, especially as you work towards your Bachelor of Game Design. You have the whole world available to you. Take it, run with it, explore it, and come back and let us know all that you've discovered. Kare. When I think of Kare, I think of loyalty, kindness, and heart. He truly is the type of friend that everybody needs. I first taught him in grade 8, but in particular, over this past year, we have worked closely together on the Encounter program that Kare and Kaylee worked so hard to bring to our school. I could not imagine entrusting a better pair to bring that project here. And everyone that attended that event, I'm sure, feels the same way. Kare also displayed his heart on the basketball court. He may not have been the tallest or the strongest, but his teammates could rely on him to bring everything to every shift that he played. Kare, I can only imagine all the things that you will accomplish in your life. But no matter where your journey takes you, please remember these important lyrics from Frank Ocean. You look down on where you came from, sometimes, but you'll have this place to call home, always. Thanks, Kare.
And I would like to invite up Mr. Ethan Reiber and Adrian Price Roberts. You're up first, sir. Ethan Lloyd Reiber has a superpower. Never before have I taught a student that can make me simultaneously think, what the heck is this kid saying right now? And, wow, he's actually really onto something with a single utterance, quite like he can. Ethan joined the Aberdeen Hall family as a grade 10 student in the fall of 2017, and it wasn't very long before he found a place among this group of likewise capable, intelligent, caring, and unique young people. A considerate young man, he was never afraid to engage with his teachers on a personal level. Sometimes he could do to be at least a little afraid in this count, but overall it only showed what a warm and likable guy he truly is. Whether in the classroom or at the hockey rink, Ethan exhibits the kind of resilience, positivity, affability, and unique Ethan insight that will serve him well as he moves on to the next stage of life. Congratulations, Ethan. Thank you. It is said that goodness precedes greatness. But where does goodness come from? Is it innate, or is it something that we build piece by piece, relationship by relationship, day by day? Kind of like a sandwich. I think we all agree that if we want to see goodness, we need look no further than Adrian. Using his example, I have compiled a recipe for the ultimate sandwich of goodness to share with you today. First, approach life with creativity and experimentation. Why settle for boring ham on your sandwich? Use shark. That's a metaphor, don't actually use shark, it's unethical. When you encounter a problem seemingly too huge to fit on your sandwich, like a gigantic cucumber, safely employ a mind sharpened by curiosity and diligent study to slice it down into manageable chunks. Have the confidence to put anchovies on that sandwich without worrying about being judged for it. And never forget your bread. A sandwich of goodness is neither good nor really a sandwich if it isn't surrounded by supportive friends and loving family. Adrian, as you move on, I implore you to share your sandwich far and wide, because it's also said that goodness becomes greatness when you give it away. I would now like to call up Mr. Brooks.
It is my privilege to invite up Matthew, Piper, and Kaylee. Come on up here, Matt. All right. Matthew Shenner, charming, witty, and undeniably inquisitive. Matt's appetite for history, typically in regards to manufacturing cars and wartime politics, has led many of our discussions. He seeks to break complex problems down into understandable and unique perspectives. While not always following the opinion of the masses, Matt consistently brought insightful views to the classes and hallways of Aberdeen Hall, while maintaining a respectful and intellectual stance. This tendency to thrive in the face of adversity is propelled forward by Matt's fearlessness. He is unafraid to be unconventional, think outside of the box, find extraordinary in the ordinary. Matt, your work ethic, fearlessness, and inquisitive nature is going to be missed. As you go on to achieve undoubtedly remarkable things, remember to hold tight to your convictions and never be afraid to go against the grain. Piper is a G. No, scratch that. She's a double G. Yeah. Generous and genuine. This is a combination that many strive for, yet comes so naturally for Piper. A classic example of Piper's unfailing generosity would be the incredibly thoughtful gifts of homemade tomato soup, grilled cheese, and even a rare black sand from Russian. It's Icelandic. Because of my constant references to the mother of dragons. But setting those examples aside, Piper truly shines with her generosity of wisdom, love, and sheer spunk. She's so unabashedly herself, one cannot help but smile. When one thinks of Piper, they undoubtedly think of her unique answers to questions that almost always involve her sharing a strange tangent on her life. Her genuine spirit and generosity to share it is a beacon of hope for the rest in the sometimes disingenuous world. The world needs color, kindness, creativity, and Piper is more than happy to share it. So Piper, as you go on to new adventures, know that your generosity and genuineness will carry you far, and all will exclaim, "There goes a real double G." Compassionate, empathetic, and incredibly stubborn. It's the qualities of a great leader, the qualities of Kaylee. I've had the privilege of watching firsthand the undeniable force of warm-hearted leadership Kaylee has within her. Kaylee Krivishine is a household name at Aberdeen, from captaining sports teams and Encounter to volunteering with student council and terrorizing teachers with her hijinks. There are few stones left unturned for Kaylee. Now, as admirable as all these accomplishments are, Kaylee, it is your staggering level of compassion that has stood out most in the 4 years that I've known you. You lead with your heart, effortlessly bringing people together, rallying those around you with your fierceness and your love. You inspire kindness, you inspire compassion, and yes, you are incredibly stubborn. But it is that stubbornness and individual need to succeed when faced with obstacles that is just another inspiring leadership quality you possess. Aberdeen has been so blessed to have known you. I've been so blessed to have known you. But now, the world needs you more than ever, Kaylee. So please, do what you do best and go take care of it. Can I please call up Miss Cunningham?
Okay, I have the pleasure of talking about Emma and Hugh. And Emma's the only one here. Come on down and come right on up. Alright, Emma is one of the most talented individuals I've ever met. While attending Aberdeen Hall, she trained daily at the rink, getting up before dawn and going to bed long after most of us. Emma's dedication, persistence, and clear vision helped her achieve a great academic standing at Aberdeen Hall, but also on the ice. Her latest endeavor this year was competing in the Senior Women's Figure Skating Championship at Skate Canada. On the ice, she is just beautiful, stylish, full of grace, and definitely full of determination. In the classroom, she's humble and kind, but she has the same level of determination to succeed. Her uniform is about as stylish as it gets, though, at school. Emma's one of those people who really will have it all. Success with skating, success with school, success with her career, but she'll never tell you about it unless you ask her. She's just that kind of person, and it makes me love her even more. Emma, I wish you the best in university, and I can't wait to watch your next competition. Thank you. All right, so I'm also going to talk about Hugh. Hugh is in Shan, China right now, his hometown. So I hope you're watching. It's the middle of the night. At least if my speech doesn't make sense. Might be too tired to notice. That's good. So Hugh, I first met Hugh when he came to Aberdeen in grade 10.
He came and stayed with us for a couple of weeks at my home while his homestay was being worked out. And my best memory was the night he made us hot pot. And I am ashamed to admit, but I had never had it before. So Hugh cooked it for us and my entire family, including my mother-in-law. It was absolutely delicious, even with the 2 cups of sour cream she had to put on hers to cool it down. She still talks about Hugh and asks how he's doing, so he must have made quite an impression. She always says, "I like that kid," and I nod. I like that kid too. But he was no longer a kid. He's now a young man, ready to explore the next chapter of his life. Hugh is smart, he's kind, he's thoughtful, he's funny, he's determined, and he will be successful no matter what he does. I hope he never forgets his 3 years at Aberdeen Hall. Hugh, I hope you come and visit us, and if you want to cook for me, I won't say no. I wish you the best in your future studies. I'd like to call up Mr. Bosdick.
Could I get up Lucas, Tor, and Ken? Lucas is an entertaining guy. The point, well as marking one of his app design assignments, actually 2 of them, I was laughing out loud in the staff room looking like a crazy person. And so I thought to myself, these are awesome projects, they're very entertaining. I should put them in the report card, and so I did. But then I got told, kind of politely but firmly, that a official school document is not the place for that kind of ridiculous themes and tongue-in-cheek humor, but I love them. All interactions with Lucas generally result in pleasantness and good humor. I'm continually impressed with how quickly he can pick up a concept, and I'm sure wherever he ends up will be brightened by his presence. I wish him good fortune in his future endeavors, and I hope he ends up with his coveted 78 BMW M1. Come on up. So Tor shares the pronunciation of his name with the unit of pressure, which is apt because he is a force to be reckoned with. He's able to do muscle-ups and handstand push-ups with ease, to a point that seems ridiculous to us mere mortals. But those kind of abilities do not come easily. Tor has figured out that if you want to be successful at something, you keep working at it. He does it in school too, working at things until he has the latest complicated bit of AP physics or robotics figured out. All this, and he's serious when it's time to be serious, totally entertaining when it's not, and a good friend to others as well. Next year, Tor is planning to study engineering, which, given his ability to keep working at things, will likely result in something like him bench pressing cars to examine them better so he can design them to be more efficient or something. Yeah, I wish you luck. Come on up, Ken. So I first taught Ken in grade 9. There I noticed he was this great, good-natured guy who was funny and kind to all those around him. Some things never change. Other things do, though. Grade 9, I thought to myself, if only Ken focused more on school, he could do so much more. But then last year, all of a sudden, he's coming to tutorials when he's ahead in my classes. And then this last year, he was often one of the first to have his hand up to answer a question in my Physics 12 class, and often helped people around him. He created this hilarious text adventure game in my app development class where the way you won was you were as lazy as possible in all situations. But that's certainly not his personal philosophy these days. I think if we linearly extrapolate his recent rate of academic and work ethic improvements to future years, by 2030, Ken will be leader of the free world. It's science, people. So my advice to everyone is we all start being very nice to Ken right now. Good luck, Ken. All right, Mr. Hooper, you're up.
Always tough to follow that, Mr. Bosdet. Thank you. That's everything. I'd like to call up Adam Locke, Claire Dickinson, and Christian Issa, please. And Adam, you can come on right up. You're first up to bat. So, since Adam joined our school in grade 10, he's done nothing but impress me. He is one of the nicest, most caring, and kind-hearted kids that I've ever had the pleasure of teaching and coaching. I've really never coached a player who was more versatile and able to do whatever I asked of him without question, except to stop shooting the ball like he was setting a volleyball. Made lots of them though. No matter what I've asked about him on the court, he would get it done. This adaptability and willingness will serve him well as he moves on to post-secondary education and beyond. What a lot of people don't know about Adam is that he has a tremendous sense of humor. I will never forget some of the one-liners that he dropped on our road trips that I will not repeat here. We'll miss you on the bus, on the court, and in the classroom, next year and beyond. All the best, Adam. Clara, you're up next. So for the past 3 years, I've been lucky enough to have Clara be a part of our homeroom, our advisory group. I've also had the pleasure of teaching her science and chemistry in grade 10 and 11. Clara's a thoughtful and caring student who was an absolute joy to have in the classroom at all times. Her passion and dedication for swimming is admirable, carrying her all the way to swimming for the University of Victoria in the fall. Clara's positive energy follows her everywhere she goes, unless you call her Clara Bear. Then you might get an intense look that I'm probably getting right now and I've grown very accustomed to. I will look back fondly over the great times we've shared for the past few years. I know that your passion and positivity will serve you well as you move on to your next steps. And don't ever lose that fire that you would show me when I called you that aforementioned nickname. All the best, Clara. All right, Christian, come on up. Then we get here.
Yeah.
First met Christian 5 years ago during my first winter at Aberdeen. I just wrapped up our practice with the older kids and saw this little guy with his headband on, hair that defied gravity, working on his best handles by one of the side hoops. I approached him and he had a confident bravado to him, but he wouldn't play me one-on-one. Probably the only time I would have actually been able to beat him. I've been lucky enough to see Christian grow into the well-mannered, intelligent, and driven student athlete that we see before our eyes today. His drive is what amazes me, though, the most. Whether it's telling me, don't worry, coach, we'll win next year, while we're getting ice cream, Grand Forks, after his grade 9 year provincials where he finished 3rd place. He said, don't worry, we'll win next year. And we did. And the year after. Or is it his undying will to improve his shooting and become our go-to guy for a clutch shot? Most impressive, though, is the drive he has to excel throughout the rigorous academic course load. Wherever his path takes him, I know that this inner drive will serve him well. That's Christian.
Thank you.
I'd like to call up Ms. Petit.
I'd like to call up Alicia, Noah, and Cassia, please. Alicia, what a shining light you are. I can honestly say that I look forward to hearing your voice as you walk through the door of my classroom every day, usually shouting what kind of game we're going to play that day. It's like Manny Head Monday or Kahoot Tuesday. I love how cheerful and positive you are. You always look for the good in every circumstance, and I really appreciate that about you. You generate such kindness and gentleness that people naturally gravitate towards you. You're also such a hard worker. Not everything comes easy for you, but you work hard and you give 100% in everything that you do. This is going to take you very far in life. I encourage you to always keep your light and to shine it on everyone around you, and to also never give up when life gets tough. I'm so sad to see you leave us, yet I'm excited to know that you'll be embarking on your new journey as you pursue sciences at UBCO. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to hear all about your life adventures. Old soul Noah. It was so wonderful seeing you jump in with both feet as you entered our school as a new student in grade 11. You impressed me with your witty charm and your ability to crack jokes regardless of the situation. I'm seriously going to miss you knowing all of the clues in our Tuesday's Heads Up game that no one else knows. I also want to thank you for taking photography 12 when I'm pretty sure you really didn't want to. You are wise beyond your years in random trivia, and I'm sure this will take you far in the future. You are talented on the basketball court as well as in the art room. Thank you for taking, oh, I already said that. Sorry, I thought I took it out and then I put it back in. I appreciate your kindness towards others and your ability to recognize when to speak up. I've seen you be a leader, an influencer, and a good friend in our Aberdeen community. It has been a gift watching you grow and develop as an emerging artist these past 2 years, and I'm excited for what awaits you as you pursue a future in graphic design. Joyful Kessia. Your sweetness has lit up my art room for the last 2 years. The giggles have grown and joy radiates around you. I love how you are driven and focused on whatever you apply yourself to. I appreciate how much you care about the important things and the people closest to you. You have such a caring heart and are thoughtful and considerate to everyone. Your cheerfulness is endearing and your laugh is infectious. Thank you for being such a positive and cheerful addition to my room. Your female singer impersonations are truly your hidden talent, and I can't unhear those unique sounds that you're able to create. I have no doubt that you're going to be successful in whatever you put your mind to. Your fierce tenacity and driven nature are sure to get you to where you want to go. I'm proud of you for getting accepted to the University of Alberta, and I'm excited to see where life takes you. I'd like to call out Mr. Simpson.
Can I call up Daniel, Chantel, and Ben Byrne, please? Daniel, you're up first. You can come on right up.
All right. Round of applause for me!
All right. So I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know Daniel better over these last 3 years. He's an interesting and brilliant young man with an incredible sense of humor. I would regularly get to have my workday begin with him entertaining me by demonstrating his ability to stay in whatever character he had chosen to portray that morning. When he wasn't making me laugh, Daniel would engage me in conversations about philosophy or politics that would challenge me to look at my established ideas and opinions through a new lens. Sometimes we even played guitar in guitar class. He impresses me in that area as well. I've gotten to see him develop from a relative beginner on the instrument all the way to performing Chopin's Prelude No. 4, which was written for piano, on his guitar in just 3 years. Daniel has an incredible tenacity and determination. Combine that with his intellect and wit, and there is nothing that this young man can't accomplish.
So I met Chantel when we shared a first Aberdeen Hall experience together. I was a specialist subject teacher, excited to be sharing my very first homeroom with Madame McElroy, and Chantel was a new Aberdeen Hall student joining our grade A class. From day one, Chantel's smile was on display and her prowess for the performing arts. She is a performing arts powerhouse, both in drama and music, and she has contributed invaluably to the success of our school productions. She's always been right there, offering to help well beyond the expectations of her class's responsibilities for the show. She would sing with guitar classes to help fill out their songs, play her violin to support less experienced strings classes and special ensembles, and voluntarily take on extra dramatic roles. In fact, she managed to fit all 3 of these into this year's school production. With Chantel's drive and talent, I know she will experience great success as she continues her music studies in Brandon University's choral program. So Ben is an extraordinary young man who exemplifies the spirit of Aberdeen Hall. Whether he is on the rugby pitch, basketball court, concert stage, or in the classroom, he gives his all, while he still keeps things fun. I've had the pleasure of teaching Ben for the last 6 years, and although he never seeks the spotlight, his desire to help his classmates achieve the best that they can usually lands him in it. He has been a key player in every music ensemble that he has performed with, right from playing guitar and singing center stage with his grade 7 guitar class, to receiving a special shout out from CBC Music this past year for his guitar soloing skills in his class's Canadian Music Class Challenge submission. On top of his athletic and musical prowess, Ben has a great academic mind as well, and a personality that makes everyone respect him. Combining all of this with his work ethic, I know that Ben will achieve incredible success in whatever he chooses. And now I'd like to call up Lauren Cross.
Can I please call up Annika and Ben? I would have called up Tony, but shout out to Tony at home. All right. So this is the first year that I got to teach Tony, and did I ever? Right, Tony? Every day. All year, 2 courses, every other week, 3 hours straight. And we're not talking physics, with predictable trajectories, consistent formulas, simplicity. No, we're talking classes that explored the epistemological limits, metaphysical consciousness, and evaluating economic justice policy effectiveness. And if you asked him, if you asked him now about those topics, he'll probably shrug, shake his head, and say, I have no idea. Which I think captures a philosophical stance many of us have on those topics. But it also demonstrates some of the qualities I admire most about Tony. These courses were hard, but he pressed on, and in his second language, with positivity, with a sense of humor, and kindness. I've been incredibly lucky to get to know Tony this year, and I wish him all the best on his future endeavors. When I was thinking about what to write in this speech, my memory swam with Annika popping into my homeroom with her iced coffee, or our chats in Mrs. Hill's office, or Mr. Akery's office, or Mr. Oz's office. All of the physiological responses we've enjoyed, or best of all, her anatomy and physiology class. With those memories in my mind and a smile on my face, I feel like this speech would just be a string of inside jokes about lipids or seemingly insane movements to illustrate a physiological concept. But what really stands out is how much I adore this human. No matter what, when we are together, we're laughing. I've been so lucky and grateful to have gotten to teach you over the past 2 years. I'm so proud of you. Not your incredible work ethic or your tremendous GPA, but I'm proud of the growth I've seen in you. I wish you so much happiness, and I'm so excited to see you next year as my TA. Ben is incredibly special to me. Not only is he part of my advisory, but this year I was lucky enough to have taught him in 2 classes, philosophy and anatomy. Even though both of these classes were wildly different, Ben's work ethic, kindness, and diligence were evident every day. Having philosophical conversations together in advisory at the end of the day, or just getting to answer Ben's science questions, have filled me with joy this year. I have so many wonderful memories of you, Ben. Like your anatomy debate on the most important protein, in which I saw you for the first time at an incredibly different level of energy. The best moment happened the day that you mimicked my voice to say, everything's connected, which you nailed. I still laugh when I think about it. I'm so proud of you, Ben, and I wish you all the happiness in the world. Please keep in touch. Mr. Hill to the podium, please.
Can I please call up Sky and Luke, please? You're up. You're welcome. You know, typically a serious student should not refer to her as teacher as homie or G, but maybe serious shouldn't be used to describe Sky in the first place. My earliest memories of Sky were when I was doing lunchroom supervision with Mr. Brooks, and Sky would come bouncing up to us day in and day out and justify why her opinions were right in that class and Mr. Brooks's were wrong. I can admit now that you were always right. I had not taught Sky at that point, but I knew then that, I really want to teach this one. And since then I've taught Sky twice, and you have been a phenomenal student in every course I've been able to have the pleasure of teaching you in. You've been a phenomenal student, but more importantly, you've been a phenomenal person. You're always willing to go above and beyond to help your classmates and to sneak in humor whenever appropriate, or inappropriate, or whenever. I want to wish you the very best of luck as you pursue your career as an engineer, but remember that drawing stonks memes won't get you bonus marks in university. I can't wait to see what the future lies ahead for you, homie. Mr. Ovenden? You know, never in my entire teaching career have I had to put in more work than when I started teaching Luke Ovenden. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that Luke was disruptive or needed extra support or anything like that. In fact, nothing could be further from that. I just knew that I had to come in every single day, super prepared and pre-read and researched. Otherwise, Luke would embarrass me because I already knew he understood the topic in and out. You were testing me the whole time, weren't you? For that, Luke, I do sincerely thank you. Your passion for your studies, your wit and humor, and your willingness to ask meaningful questions inspire me as an educator. I'll surely miss the humor you bring to our classroom, the witty attendance question answers, and the challenge you brought to our entire class to be better. I want to wish you the best of luck as you further your education in sciences. I'll miss you. I'd like to call up Madame McElroy, please.
Could I call up Cheyenne and Emmeline, please? We have been lucky enough to have Cheyenne with us here at Aberdeen since kindergarten, and I have had the unique privilege of teaching her for 8 of those years. When I met her in grade 3, she was giggly, creative, and a strong-willed little spitfire. Our grade 8 homeroom 5 years later would have looked oh so different without Cheyenne's daily antics with Kaylee, her quick-witted replies, and her fierce competitiveness in friendly games. When playing dodgeball, always choose Cheyenne first for your team. That incredible throwing arm has actually brought her her greatest accomplishments during her high school years. Her dedication to softball training has allowed her to participate in the highest levels of play. Her teammates have become like family and supported her through challenging injuries. Cheyenne's resilience and determination to succeed allowed her to play internationally and even earned her a scholarship offer to play in the US. Although I have to say we're very grateful that she's chosen to stay close to home. Cheyenne, I hope you never stop bringing that giggliness, creativity, and strong-willed spirit from grade 3 into all your many adventures ahead. Good luck. Emily, some of you may know that I often cry during grad speeches. Not today. Because with Ms. Emmeline Oxtoby, you have before you an oxymoron. You see, Emmeline will have you believe that life's problems don't affect her. This is well demonstrated by her chuck it in the bucket attitude. Excuse me. However, those of us that have looked past her hilariously deadpan remarks have been gifted to see another side. Emmeline is actually very passionate in everything she does. Whether she is training in sports from basketball to track, now to volleyball, studying to achieve her best in her AP courses, or supporting even her brother's theater performances, Emmeline cares deeply about everything. The greatest example of the Oxtoby oxymoronness, I'm not an English teacher clearly, is in her ponderings of her future. Emmeline came to me one day wanting advice on choosing a career path. She was considering engineering, logical, focused, hopefully a well-paying future years ahead, versus astronomy, because she thought space and stars were really cool. Emmeline is such a wonderfully unique soul, and I am glad that she will not change for anyone in the pursuit of her passions. Aberdeen has been left a better place after having Emmeline in our halls. Good luck in your future. Can I call up Mr. Kostaka, please?
I have the pleasure of calling up two students who are near and dear to my heart, Liam Herbert and Adam Bissett. Liam, you're first. Sorry, Adam. I remember my first day with Liam Herbert. I was in my first year of teaching, and 3 distinct things about that class stuck out. By the end of it, Liam had told me one of my answers was not simplified enough. He had explained to me in detail why one of my jokes was not funny. And finally, he spent 10 minutes discussing why Arsenal is the greatest soccer team that existed. I tell you this story not to explain why Liam was wrong about Arsenal, but to talk about his greatest strengths. Liam, you have a gift. You have a desire and a drive to be the best in absolutely everything you do, and it's something I never want you to lose. Where I've seen you grow most, however, in these last 3 years, is your willingness to listen to others, admit to mistakes, and to see things from someone else's perspective. It is something that I am very proud of you for, and with that, I will take my own advice and say something I will never say again. Go Gunners. I've got to know Adam quite well over these last 4 years here at Aberdeen. I've had him both on my soccer team and in my grade 9 homeroom, where I don't think he said more than 2 words to me that whole year.
As a student and as a person, I've been able to witness firsthand the growth this young man has shown. I don't know if I've seen a student overcome more obstacles, challenges, tough moments in their school life than Adam. As a soccer coach, it's no secret that I've been tough on you at times. But Adam, I'm so proud of everything you have become. You are a rare individual. You are genuine, you are caring, you listen, you have taken feedback, and you have grown. Life is full of highs and lows, and no doubt you will continue to go through those. Never lose faith in who you are as a person. Stay kind, stay caring, stay proud, because we are all so proud of you. Can you please call up Mr. Owens?
Why don't everybody stand up for a second, just to shake it out a little bit. I know you've been sitting for a while. We're getting through it. Once again, Braden's not doing what I've asked him to do. Can I have Aiden and Coral please come to the stage? All right, you can sit now. I wasn't like commanding that, man. I just move your feet. Come on up there, Aiden. Okay, so I brought a prop for this because this is a tangle to my little words here. And as with most of my speeches, I'm not sure if this is true, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Because it's come to my understanding that Aiden holds an obscure world record for roll-up-the-rim losses. Rumor has it he's gone an astounding 0 for 96 without unrolling a winning cup once. Now, some would be discouraged by this. Others would erupt into raging fits of anger or despair in the face of such disappointment. Not Aiden. You see, Aiden is not one to let setbacks stand in his way. And when faced with adversity, Aiden steps up. And this guy has faced more than his fair share of sprains, breaks, and concussions over the years. I think Aiden might hold the Aberdeen Hall standard for school photos with cast slings or crutches. My point is, Aiden is remarkably resilient. Each time he responds with his trademark sense of humor and his good-natured smile. Aiden, adversity doesn't teach character, it reveals it. And it's clear that you have superb character. I would also say that going 0 for 96 is not so bad. Just meant that 97th cup all the more special. Thank you, Aiden. We wish you all the best. Come on up, Coral. Okay, there's this wonderful quote by some lady named Oprah. Have you heard of her? The quote reads, "Everybody wants to ride with you in the limo, but what you want is somebody who'll take the bus with you when the limo breaks down." And I know Coral would not only take the bus with her friends, but she would willingly wait in a bus stop in a torrential rainstorm if it would give that friend any comfort. It's this quality of kindness, empathy, and friendship that defines Coral's character. We've all been fortunate to benefit from these wonderful qualities as Coral has grown from the energetic kindergarten student to this young lady we see before us now. Coral, every day is more joyful, every classroom a little brighter, each moment more meaningful when you're part of it. Thank you for the last 13 years. You've made us all better. You will be missed. Got one more person I need to talk about. This is where all of the grievances will be aired for the last 13 years. Because I told Braden, one day you're going to hear it. Today's the day. So Braden, I remember your first day at Aberdeen Hall. It was also my first day. We both arrived with a little bit of nervous energy. I was anxious about my new job at a new school in a new city. You were worried about new friends, new teachers, and what snacks you had in your lunch kit. And for 13 years, I've taken strength from knowing that you were in the hallway. You've made every day an adventure. Seriously, from gleefully grabbing the mic during speech competitions, joyfully donning whimsical costumes during drama productions, leading student council initiatives, fearlessly throwing yourself into athletic competitions, you've left an indelible mark on your school. I was once told, you don't raise heroes, you raise sons. And if you treat them like sons, they'll turn out to be heroes. Now, even if it's just in your own eyes. That resonates deeply with me, and I'm sure I haven't said it enough. But even if you had grown up to be half of what you've become, you'd still be my hero. I'm gonna miss you. Mr. Avery.
Can I call it Joel, Kieran, and Ava, please? Come on up, Joel. Joel Comfort is an individual who I will always have time for. If I'm looking for someone to engage in a thoughtful, intelligent conversation, it's Joel. As I look to be entertained and to laugh, it's often Joel. Sometimes through his YouTube channel, Natural Comfort. If I want to engage with somebody who cares, who stands by his convictions and yet is open to learning, who's appreciated enormously by his classmates, that person is Joel Comfort. Over the past couple of years, I've had the great opportunity to get to know Joel as his homeroom advisor and as a teacher. I've learned that he's an engaging, thoughtful individual with a future working with and leading other people. Whether he's debating, leading with student council, or making goofy YouTube videos, I appreciate Joel's willingness to get involved in the world around him. Joel, I will always have time for you. So I hope you come back and tell me how the years come. Congratulations. Kieran. Kieran does not have to work very hard to put a smile on my face, though he often does work very hard at that anyways. In the many Zoom calls that I've shared with him this school year, more times than not, I would suddenly notice a funny Zoom background change that he made to amuse his classmates, sometimes to irritate them. One day, he tried to convince me that he was from an entirely different country that, in fact, he is from. You see, you have to keep your eyes and your ears open around Kieran. But in the midst of that, he also revealed himself to be a capable, ambitious individual with goals that he cares about. When it comes down to it, Kieran is working towards a future that he will excel at, and I have a great faith in him as he embarks on that journey. I hope he continues to play the guitar, to joke around and have fun, and to work towards those satisfying post-secondary experiences that he so desires. Congratulations, Kieran. Ms. Ava Peacock. When Ava was in grade 9, I had the opportunity to explore London and Paris with her, to walk with her amongst the graves of Canadians who fell on European battlefields, and to witness the work of artistic masters with her. And in that time, and over the years that have followed, as I've observed her, I've learned that Ava is compassionate, giving, empathetic, while also being extremely ambitious and capable of achieving incredible things. She's a musician, a volunteer, and a leader. Ava is all these things and more. She embodies so much that we hope for in our students and in our children. The other day, Mr. Stinson fondly recalled for me the many ways that Ava has stepped in to lead and perform, even when she was not actually in a music class. I personally recall our whole Aberdeen staff group at the Cherry Triathlon last year cheering wildly as Ava dove into the pool and completed her personal triathlon much faster than our relay teams. While taking all this on, Ava still excelled academically and is well prepared to become an engineer. And Ava, I wish you all the best. Congratulations. And that concludes our spotlight speeches. So we really hope you feel valued. Grads, you truly are. and it was our honor to speak those words. Now I'm going to stay up here because I have another honor, and that honor is to move into senior awards. And so I have a number of awards that we'd like to offer. Now typically, on our award day, we do this at closing ceremonies, and we would have the trophies. Now you can see that the trophies are duly laid out over there on the table. However, in the current state of affairs, I will not be inviting you up to receive said trophy from me. Rather, we'll have you stand and have a round of applause, and then I'd invite you at the end to walk by the trophy table and see what you have been awarded. So today, it's all about the applause. Now the first award I'm going to hand out today is the Adang Senior Math and Science Award. And this award goes to the senior student who scores top in the class for their math and their science courses. The faculty have agreed that this student rises above the rest when it comes to math and science. These students have the ability to plot and to plan our course to the stars one day. And today, I'd invite you to join me in congratulating this year's winner, Ben Zhang and Christian Isa. Just stand up for a moment of applause and then we'll congratulations, you two. The Senior English and Social Studies Award is presented in recognition of students in grade 12 who achieve excellence in and demonstrate an exceptional passion for the humanities. And this year we've chosen 2 winners. So could you please rise and grade 12s join me in congratulating Daniel Lang and Luke Ovenden. The Senior Fine Arts Award is presented in recognition of students in grade 12 who are dedicated, love the fine arts, persevere in their efforts to develop their skill and their technique. And this year we have a clear winner, and I'd like you to join me in congratulating Chantel Bennett. Now, my next group of awards are the Cogs Awards, Central Okanagan Bursary and Scholarship Society. So a number of you applied for those awards. That is it's a local organization. The Central Okanagan Bursary and Scholarship Society administers over 500 bursaries and scholarships for students who live within the boundaries of SD23. Students completed applications that painted a picture of who they were, and the selection committee matched applicants to the criteria that were established by the local donors. This year, 4 of our students are receiving awards and bursaries, and today you'll receive instructions about receiving your payment and forwarding thank you cards to the generous local donors who believe in supporting students in their post-secondary education. So at the end of the ceremony, if you could join me at the table, I have envelopes for you. First of all, receiving the Carol Colpitts Music Award in the amount of $1,000. Congratulations, Chantel Bennett. Receiving the Jane C. Alton Scholarship in the amount of $500, Christian Isa. Receiving the South Kelowna Elementary PAC Award in the amount of $500 is Ava Peacock. And receiving the WDMHA Bursary in the amount of $500 is Ethan Reiber. Congratulations. So congratulations to each of you. That's awesome. I'm really happy that you can receive those funds. Okay, now the next award I'm going to announce is one that typically at the closing ceremonies we would invite the head of the board of directors to come and award, because it is the board of directors award. Today, I have the honor of announcing that individual. So the Board of Directors Award is presented each year to the senior student who best demonstrates excellence in academics, leadership, and character. This student typically has the top GPA in our class. Though this year's class has numerous worthy candidates, the award can only be given to one student. And so I'm going to ask this year's winner to stand up and receive our recognition. And that winner is Christian Isa. All right, our next round of awards, the graduation awards. So students in our graduating class are eligible to receive the following graduation awards. Each of these awards are accompanied by a monetary prize that will be presented after the ceremony. We're pleased to recognize the achievements of our senior students. So first of all, the Schuler Group Benefits Scholarship. The Schuler Group Benefits Scholarship is presented to an applicant who exemplifies consistent work ethic, strength of character, dedication to academic excellence. The student awarded with this prize of $500 will have demonstrated a remarkable commitment to their studies, as well as commendable community involvement. And this year's applicant and student receiving the award is Kayer Ranshad. Congratulations, Kayer. The Cambridge Leadership Award is presented to the grade 12 student who made significant contributions to student life at Aberdeen Hall. This student stood out as a leader amongst her peers and was a consistent motivator for our students. This year's recipient of the $500 award is Annika Vester. Congratulations, Annika. The goal of the Parent Guild Inspiration Award is to recognize the qualities of volunteerism and community that our organization is built upon, and to aid a graduating student whether they are moving on to post-secondary education or not. This award of $500 is given to a student who has applied and who has volunteered within the school over multiple years, who has enriched the community around them through kindness, through volunteerism, and through enthusiasm. And this year's Parent Guild Inspiration Award recipient will not be standing because he needs to sit. It is Braden Ozachowski. Congratulations, Braden. The Hearing Helpers Foundation Award. This award is sponsored by one of our own graduating students, Jada Yurku, and is presented to the student who best demonstrates resilience, courage, and optimism in facing a challenge in his or her life. And the recipient of this $500 award will be Luke Ovenden. Congratulations, Luke. All right, now my last. And this is the Valedictorian. The honor of being named Valedictorian is determined by the grade 12 class and the Aberdeen Hall faculty. This student is recognized not just for being a top academic student. In addition to academics, the Valedictorian is a student who contributed greatly to the school community, to the graduating class, and who represents the characteristics that we value as Aberdeen Hall students. It has been a long-standing tradition for this student to deliver a valedictorian address at the graduation ceremony, which was held right now, and to impart a farewell to the classmates. So this year it gives me great pleasure to share with you and to all of you who are watching that the 2020 graduate selected as this year's valedictorian is Ava Peacock. I'm going to invite her up to the stage at this point.
Okay, we can't help but first acknowledge the fact that we really thought 2020 was the perfect year to graduate, didn't we? I know my parents thought of it even when I was 2 or 3 years old. In English class, we'd call that some major situational irony. Out of all this, though, it has to be admitted that we've had some unique experiences that have had to find ways of dealing with situations we never could have expected. Furthermore, these aren't the only big world events we've seen over the course of our 12 to 13 years of school. In that short period of time, so much has changed. Interestingly, this made me feel, in some ways, actually inspired and even a little bit grateful. Those are weird words to say while in the midst of a pandemic that has taken our opportunity for traditional graduation and celebrations away. But I think if we were to consider the skills and the realities of the world that we're learning, you may see some of where I'm coming from. I don't believe that it's often that so many of society's problems were revealed to us in so short a time. 12 or 13 years. Not really that long, but it encapsulated a journey for the world and a journey for us. It has made us realize that the time to act and to live is now, and that we don't get to practice for life. You may think that having society's problems clearly revealed to us is not so much of an opportunity as it is a burden set on our shoulders, as it's come to a head as we graduate. I encourage you, though, to realize that the first step to solving problems is to isolate and identify them. It has become very clear what needs to change, even if we don't know how to change it yet. Our first step has been accomplished. When we know what is wrong, there's guidelines for a solution. When it isn't acknowledged or understood, it's impossible to even begin. I have the unique opportunity of being valedictorian of a relatively small class of graduates, which means I can say that I truthfully know each of you. I don't know everything about you, your entire background, but I have an idea of your strengths, your passions, your outlooks. I am able to say with conviction that this is a unique group of individuals who, combined, have enough diversity of skill and personal experience that we can approach an issue from all different sides to find the best way forward. I believe that we have been allowed to find where our strengths lie, improve them, and now forge them into a tool for an ever-changing world. There wasn't a certain mold or specific way that we had to do each assignment, each test, each project. Opportunities for uniquities, different styles, options for learning in varied ways taught us that a multitude of ways of approaching a task is key to finding the best solution. The world changes every year, every month, every day. We are seeing that unfold before us. However, this skill is something that will be constantly needed as we attempt and fail, over and over until solutions are found. There is no other way that is quite as tried and true. Our graduating class is a group of teenagers who have just entered into the adult world, so it is natural for us to feel anger and become defensive about the issues in our world. We didn't create them, and we certainly never asked for them. I, for one, will never be able to comprehend some of the things that have happened in far past and recent human history. But we still only get one chance at this life, only one chance to make this world better. We don't get a second chance just because of these unfortunate times. We can see in front of us what must change, so you must consider this. After you've had your rightfully deserved feelings of anger and disgust or grief and sadness about how the world is now, you need to ask yourself this one question. If I don't do something, who will? Who will? We've seen that inaction leads to further inaction and leaves us with the same, if not a more severe version of the problems the world has. We either decide to act or we decide to live another generation with the issues that harm our fellow human beings and the planet that we live on. We decide to leave those problems to the generation that comes after us, and we decide that we don't care enough about each other to do something more. We can see what's unfolding here, in Canada and in the world. Our graduating class has unique perspectives and unique experiences that set us apart from the older people who are currently in charge of the decisions being made and the actions being taken. As one of the youngest generations currently on this planet, we have been, I believe, raised on the moral values of treating all people with the same respect we give our friends, that every human is a human being, and that kindness is key. We may have a radically different outlook on situations than our parents, our teachers, our mayors, premiers, prime ministers, and world leaders, but we deserve the right to be heard. If there's one thing that you remember in a world of varying opinions, ideas, and barriers, it is this. You have the right to be heard. You may argue what place you have in local or world issues, political discussions, and opinions on these, quotations needed here, adult topics. We're only 17, 18, 19. To that I say, so what? So what that we're younger and have lived less life? So what that we may disagree with the older adults in our lives? So what they may not understand us sometimes? We see things differently, and as I said before, a multitude of opinions and approaches is the only tried and true way of finding solutions in the world. If someone is adamant and narrow enough to ask, what could you possibly know at your young age? Just simply respond, how could you know if you don't let me speak? They can't really know, it's only an assumption. And maybe, just maybe, we can try to start changing the world's mind about its younger residents. We have the capability to spark change, continue change, and keep it implemented. We have the drive and compassion to do something about the issues we care about. We see things often quite differently than some of our older residents, because things change every single day. Things were different yesterday than they are today. The world is ever evolving. What does not change, though, is the core needs and the tendencies of a human being. We all want to have a voice, to be regarded as important and equal. Sometimes we'll have to fight for this as teenagers and soon young adults. I would argue that our specific generation has actually lived less, but seen more. Sure, there are many important national or international events that occur in each person's lifetime, but they were not usually the result of a centuries-long injustice or a worldwide shutdown of quite massive proportions. Our grad class is living in a period of history that will be recorded, remembered, and recounted as events just as significant as the Spanish flu, the Black Death, the revolutions in our history, the Civil Rights Movement. This present state of the world is an event of the same magnitude, and quite possibly an event with even greater significance than most before it. Why do I say this? Well, I see the drive and the absolute unavoidable need for change in the world. Can't you sense it? There's something different about what's going on now. It's not going away, and it will not stop until change is widespread. This is a modern-day revolution. This is something that will only be solved if all those who've been marginalized and oppressed regain that core need of having a voice. If everyone who's been denied equal opportunity and equal treatment is allowed to express their feelings and their cultures, if they're finally listened to by all. And I believe this is going to happen. I believe that we have the opportunity of being allies to those who have been pushed down, and I also believe that we have the duty to do so. Without this, my earlier goal for our class to care enough to change things in the world is simply not possible. So as I stand here and challenge you and present the issues of the world, I also need to recognize that every single one of you has already accomplished so much. I need to acknowledge the challenges you've already faced and the milestones you've already achieved, because there's been countless improvements and achievements each person here has already attained. Look at where you are now. Look back to where you've come from. Look to the possibilities of the future, and remember that what you're looking at may still be invisible to you. The future is always unknown, it's never certain, and never just as we planned it to be. That's the beauty in life. You may think right is the best direction at the fork in the road, but the next intersection, the right turn lane, is blocked. You turn to the left lane in frustration, only to realize that life took you to left to show you a much better vantage point than you dreamed of. From up here, you can see so much more. The world of today is going to change by tomorrow. It may change the next hour. It's unavoidable, but not uncontrollable. Remember your own strength and power. Remember that your voice and views matter. Do not hesitate to be completely and utterly yourself. Stand for something and don't give it up. This is how change happens. This is how solutions are found. This is how we control what kind of change happens. Because we do have the power over whether it's negative or positive. We get one chance at our own lives and a million small chances within that time. We will inevitably make the wrong one sometimes, and that is called learning exactly what not to do. However, if these wrong choices ultimately lead us to greater opportunities, better understanding of ourselves and the people around us, and a drive to right our wrongs, then we are doing everything we possibly can. Draw on your strengths, use your voice, and listen. Remember who you are, and do not budge on the issues that matter to you. You've got this wonderful chance of being alive in this world, and you know I had to do it. As said by the Tragically Hip, no dress rehearsal. This is our life. Thank you.
Fantastic. Another round of applause for Ava for those sage words. Okay, you did it. We're pretty much there, guys. We're gonna do our diplomas next, but before we do that, I like to say goodbye, and it's always a funny part of the event. Mrs. Hill usually makes a binder, and in that binder, all of her speeches in there. And there's always been a tab that says goodbye from Grant, and I think it's interesting because I find that students have difficulty calling me by my first name, even as alumnus or alumni or alumna, or however you say that. And it's even years later, I'll have people who are doctors coming up to me and saying, Mr. Oz. And then I have students who are still in my class that every once in a while will send me an email and say, hey, Grant, what up? And I'll think, well, I'm not answering that email. But this is goodbye from Grant. I don't think anybody could have predicted how this year would all have worked out. We know one thing for sure, it's been memorable. And the funny thing about memories, that the things that frustrate or disappoint or irritate us, they tend to fade over time. And while the events that teach us linger on and become even more meaningful as time passes, this grad class will forever be remembered. And I think the memories from this year will be indelible not only for the events themselves, but for the lessons we learned as a result. Though some of these lessons you've already mastered. Like, we've learned how to Zoom. I didn't know what that was before. We've discovered how to create screencasts, flip grids, ed puzzles. We've figured out the paradox of staying physically distant while being socially connected. However, some of the most significant lessons from this challenging year may not reveal themselves for some time. I guess what I'm saying is that sometimes the greatest lessons in life can be found in the most unexpected places. And the last few months have certainly been unexpected. Will you bear with me? I have your last story. My grandfather was a physics and chemistry teacher. He had a real passion for science fiction too. And when I was 11, he took me to see what is undeniably and quite obviously the greatest science fiction movie of all time. That's right, The Empire Strikes Back. Now remember sitting in that theater and being blown away by the drama, the classic good versus evil themes, and of course those twisting plot lines. And I'm not gonna lie, I cried just a little at the end. But in contrast, my grandfather, well, let's just say he was less than impressed with the so-called scientific aspects of this fictitious movie. Now I remember this day really clearly, and I recall the excitement of the long-awaited film. I recollect the warmth and contentment of sitting beside somebody who I loved and having this special moment with him. But I also remember one scene that etched itself into my brain. And I know I didn't understand it at the time. But for years afterwards, it kept like rolling through my head and my brain as I reflected on this memory. And once a mystery, its relevance has slowly revealed itself over time, bit by bit, as the years have passed. And you guys have seen it, you probably remember this moment. It's the time when Luke and Yoda stumble into the front of this big, ominous, dark cave. You remember that? And they're seeing this cave. And the mood that previously had been so joyful suddenly becomes dark. And dramatic music begins to play. Luke is instantly intrigued by the mouth of this cave and that yawns in front of him. And he asks Yoda, what's in there? And Yoda replies, only what you take with you. Now Luke begins to strap on his weapons and Yoda exclaims, your weapons? You will not need those. Now Luke brazenly strides into the darkness with aplomb. That's right. To confront his fears. There, amidst the dancing shadows and threatening silence, he eventually encounters his nemesis, Darth Vader. And the darkness suddenly erupts with the sparking lightsabers of the two dueling foes. Ending violently with Luke striking off Vader's head, and breathlessly Luke reaches down to remove the helmet, only to discover that the face within was his own. I know, crazy. Spoilers too. But what a powerful moment, right? For it is this experience that taught Luke what his true destiny was. His true enemy didn't wear the black helmet and live on the Death Star somewhere. His true enemy lay within his own heart, nestled beside fear, curled up with self-doubt. Now, sitting beside my grandpa as an 11-year-old, the existential ramifications of this moment was lost on me. But now as I look back, I know that was the lesson that mattered the most in that scene. Now Yoda understood that he couldn't protect Luke from the truth. He'd have to discover the darkness himself. He also knew that Luke needed to tackle this challenge on his own. And stepping into that cave took a lot of bravery for Luke. It required honesty, it required self-reflection, but Yoda had faith that Luke was well armed and prepared and had these traits as he sent him to confront those fears inside the cave. In there, Luke uncovered a truth that had been previously hidden from view. And sometimes we learn the most from the darkness of the unknown, and it is through challenging our fears that we uncover the greatest strengths. Whether it be that impossible calculus class that you took, speaking in front of a big group of people, asking somebody out on a first date, or graduating from high school in the middle of a global pandemic. These daunting moments may feel threatening at first, but they matter the most in the long run. So here we are, standing in front of a brand new cave. For some, this is going to mean transitioning to a post-secondary world filled with new opportunities, doubts, new questions. For others, it entails a step towards different responsibilities, expectations, adulthood. Remember, you're ready. We wouldn't send you into this cave if you weren't. Know that we are with you, and that you will light the way with your courage and your experience as you enter that cave. And when you conquer what lies within, you'll be able to illuminate the path to success, not just for yourself, but for all those who follow you. Most of all, remember that we are proud of all of you, what you've achieved, of the young men and women you've become. And we hope that you can all look back on this moment one day and remember that this right now was the moment when you embraced your destiny. Step boldly forth into your future. And I wish one day you'll look back and recall that it was in these difficult moments that you discovered what mattered the most. And that then this will truly be the best year ever. And when you take these strides on the pathways of tomorrow, please remember that you will always and forever be welcome here where it all started. Goodbye from Grant. Good, now you guys get your diplomas. Okay, so the next steps, what we're going to get you guys to do is we're going to have you guys form your alphabetical line. So see if you can still do that now. That would be exciting. And we'll have you guys come across the stage and we'll pose for photographs one at a time. Those of you playing along at home, give us a moment to set this up, and then we'll make sure that everybody gets a chance to step onto the stage. And you can go like right up here, yeah.
Okay.
Right by the cameras.
My Zoomy lens. I can always switch my other one.
That we can talk to them. Feel free talking to the students so you can tell them where they are.
Okay, so. Okay.
I'm going to play.
Are they holding something or?
They're going to bring their diploma with them.
Chris is going to be. Yeah.
So I'm just going to honor them.
Okay, sorry, I just want to get a clear shot of the class.
Are they standing?
They're
Yeah,
gonna be
go on
standing
the
right
side.
here. Are they? Where are they standing? Here or
Right
here?
in the middle of the
Should be in the middle. Sorry.
All right, here we go with commencement. Kenichiro Anderson.
Good.
Chantel Bennett. Annika Bester. Alicia Buller. Adam Bazat. Emma Balaka. Benjamin Byrne. Lucas Cleve. Joel Comfort. Aiden Cousins. Clara Dickinson. Kessia Doyle. Jonathan Etheridge. Liam Herbert. Christian Esau. Piper Kinnear. Kaylee Krivashine. Coral Croker. Cheyenne Lawrence.
95.
Adam Locke. Joshua Merrifield. Sky Neal. Luke Ovenden. Emmeline Oxtoby. Braden Ozachowski.
We'll just keep going.
Ava Peacock. Adrian Price Roberts. Kair Ranjad. Ethan Ryber.
There's lots of links.
Matthew Shetter. Noah Seacoat. Tor Unseth. Daniel Z. Wang. Kieran Wang. Sandy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the grad class of 2020, congratulations. Well done, congratulations. So right now what we're going to do is our formal component of this particular event has now come to its conclusion, but we still have a couple things we need you guys, you grads, to do. In a moment I'm going to invite you guys to take your seats for a couple of minutes. Inside your diploma you will find three things. One, you will find your actual cap and gown photo that we took last week. You will also receive another copy of that if you're coming in next week. If you're not coming in next week, that'll be mailed to you. So a nice photo for you guys as a keepsake. All of the pictures that were taken today and all the pictures that were taken in the past with regards to grad, those will all be shared with you via Google Drive. Give us a couple weeks to get all that ready for you so you have access to those on your own. Okay. Second thing you're going to find inside that diploma is your actual certificate of completion, not to be confused with your diploma of graduation, which comes from the Ministry of Education. This is a school-based certificate of completion, which we're saying thank you for completing your Aberdeen Hall education. The official document will be sent by the Ministry of Education, and you can put that in there, or you can use that to send it off to your universities. The third thing, and I think the most interesting part of this, we're cognizant of the fact that some of our families can't be part of this event live, and it makes it challenging for us. So we've added something to this event, hopefully that will make you guys feel connected to your moms and your dads. Ethan, don't open it yet. I'm giving you instructions. Okay. Yeah, I see you. In that envelope, you will find a note or a letter from your mommy or your daddy or somebody who's your closest family member. In a moment, I'm going to invite you guys to take a seat, and I want you to read those words of encouragement from the family members that matter most to you. Once you have finished reading that, and if you want to record a quick response to them, we'll be around here with phones, and we'll look to sort of see how you're doing and talk to you about that. After that, when we're finished, and we can go and grab a burger from the burger truck, which is in the turnaround up top on the senior school turnaround. You're all welcome to a burger. I think there's chicken burgers and beef burgers and some French fries. Okay, so that's something that will happen afterwards. When you come back down here with your food, there's three other things that you're eligible for. One, you're eligible to take one of these lovely pillows that we have. Each grad receives one. They're sewn together from recycled uniform materials. So they're linked to Aberdeen Hall, and the idea is you bring that pillow with you wherever your paths may lead, and you can always have a piece of Aberdeen wherever you go. Second thing you're going to get is your grad yearbook. So only grads get this, and you guys get it today. Each one of you will have a picture, your own photo spread in there with a copy of your spotlight speech from your speaker, and there's a chance in there for you to get some signatures, etc. So you'll receive that also when you come down here. And then, as you make your way home, you're also welcome to take with you a gift from the Parent Guild, who've also sponsored a nice candied apple with Grad Class 2020 and a cookie to take you and make you sure that you're feeling all nurtured and filled up by the time you go home. So, Mr. Grieve, last words.
To grads, I think I'd like you to join me in thanking your teacher and leadership team. They really work hard all year long to make this year as special as possible. Letters from your parents, a wonderful keepsake package. These pillows, we've had a tradition. Do please take one and take care of it. You will enjoy having that in your university room or on a couch when you move out for the first time. A nice keepsake. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thanks, guys, and that's a wrap. Congratulations.
Oh, this scene's so hot. Good job, guys. Well done.